Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and esteemed welcome to Khas International Academic Discourse Series in India. I am honored to be a moderator for today's webinar on topic New Pedagogy for Deep Learning Inclusive Through Experience. My name is Muhammad Fikri bin Masnu and I will be guiding you through the engaging and enlightening section. I would like to extend a warm welcome to all our panelists, VIPs, and everyone who joined us from Malaysia and Bhutan. Today, we have a diverse and distinguished panel of experts who will share their experience and valuable insight on inclusive education. Let's begin by introducing our esteemed panel. First, we have Mr. Hoshi Oiwechu, an alumnus of RPG Campus Ilmu, who now serving as a special education teacher at SKPK Kampung Bahari. Hoshi, with his personal experience as a deaf individual, bring a unique perspective to our panel discussion on inclusive education. To ensure effective communication and understanding, we also have two individuals who will assist us today. First, we have Mr. Muhammad Hanafi bin Ismail, who will be providing voice-over support to our deaf panelist Hoshi. Secondly, we have Mr. Amshad bin Zamani, who will be our sign language interpreter. They will help us bridge the gap by conveying Hoshi's idea and comment for everyone here. Move on to our next campus Khas, who has visual impairment. Shall we overcoming challenges in education will provide us a valuable insight into creating an inclusive learning environment. Also, we have Mimma Sayuti Khalid, ICT external lecturer from RPG Campus Bahasa Melayu. Her expertise and contribution to the field of education make her a valuable addition to our panel discussion on inclusive pedagogy for deep learning. Lastly, we have Ms. Donna Jordan, the inclusive education coordinator of Wangsel Institute for that. Her dedication in the field of inclusive education has been instrumental in their community and promoting inclusive practice. In addition to our panelists, we have the privilege of having three distinguished VIPs with us today. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Khalid, the Director of RPG Campus Ilmu. Her visionary leadership has made a significant contribution to the inclusive education. We are also have Mr. Sharaf President, the main program officer, who has been instrumental in inclusive education. Also, welcome for the day. Before we dive into our discussion, let's take a quick look at the agenda of today's webinar, followed by panel discussion led by our esteemed panel. But without further ado, let's kick off the webinar by inviting Dr. Khalid to deliver the presentation.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat sejahtera. Salam Malaysia Madani, salam IPD KIK sentiasa di hati. Thank you, moderator, and a very good day to Mr. Sharaf Gaston, the main program officer, Mr. Dechen Sharing, the principal of Wangsel Institute, and teachers, vocational instructors, and assistant instructors, as well as all the audiences from IPD Campus Ilmu Khas and IPD Campus Bahasa Melayu and Wangsel Institute of Bhutan. It is a tremendous honor that we can meet today to go through the Inclusive Through Experience webinar series in details. According to CRPD's Article 24 GC4, inclusive education is a fundamental human right of all learners. It expresses the fundamental principles of non-discrimination and equality of education opportunities and covers the right to education comprehensively. It is recognized by UNESCO as a cornerstone of the Education 2030 agenda. The key component in developing inclusive education system consists of commitment via legal reform, policy and guidance, service delivery, attitudinal and cultural change. These require cross-departmental cooperation, institutionalization, data collection, financing, capacity building, participation, partnerships, transparency, and accountability. Education for everyone is not an accomplishment on its own. It is a process of constant improvement, perpetually striving for excellence at all levels of the systems, while resolving the inevitable issues related with education, all children of the 21st century. According to United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities 2016, inclusive education system take into account the requirement to offer reasonable accommodation to certain pupils as well as individualized support mechanisms that go beyond accessibility. While these accessibility issues are real and must be addressed for a flexible curriculum's learning contents and goals to be met. We are here today to talk about inclusive practices and share the very best in contemporary educational techniques. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce one of our panels, Hoshi Oi Will Chum. He was a trainee in IPG-KIK. Despite having hearing impairment, Hoshi unleashes his potential and serves as special education teacher in SKPK Kampung Baharu. The second panel is one of our trainees of visual impairment, Muhammad Shazwi bin Saleh, who continually contributes his productivity to the continuous success of the Institute activities. On top of that, I gratefully acknowledge a few former trainees who have excelled in their careers and made the nation proud. Let's start with Mr. Amril Nurman. He is praised as an unsung hero who inspires teachers and communities to enhance communication with pupils who have hearing impairment and has won multiple international awards. He serves as a special education teacher at SKPK Jalan Peel. The next great educator trained by IPG-KIK is Mr. Muhammad Ammar bin Ibrahim Istar, a fully blind educator who excels in inclusive learning environment. He represented Malaysia in the International Innovation Competition with his creation and 10-pin bowling marker. Also, he holds a master's degree in special education. And on top of that, I would like to welcome Mr. Muhammad Rafiq Farhan with Saiful Nizam, another current student who carries on the tradition of excellence. He is a trainee at this institution and majors in special education. His willingness to try new things is encouraged by his inclusive learning environment. Rafiq has actively established his name on the world stage, notably in the field of sports, winning silver medals in athletic competitions and blind football tournaments while also collecting the Director's Prize. The idea I'm attempting to get across here, as evidenced by the showcases I stated earlier, is that inclusion is more than just a catchphrase. It has been included into IPG-KIK's instructional strategies as we work towards achieving SDG Goal 4, quality education. It has served at the center of attention. Indeed, establishing inclusive practices requires the engagement and commitment of all stakeholders involved in education to remove obstacles, prejudice, and create an environment that supports and celebrates the diversity of all children, educators, administrators, politicians, parents, and the greater community must all work together. This type of partnership allows us to create the promote educational best practices for accommodating individual differences. There is no one size fits all formula for IPGKIK. To create a truly inclusive educational environment, let us be proactive in searching innovative ideas, engaging in dialogue that extends the questions conventional assumptions. Initially, inclusive education is a goal and a process. According to SLE 2018, a philosophy and a legal framework, a right, a method for the implementation of all other rights, and a moral responsibility, and it requires new and transformative laws, policies, and practices, as well as the questioning of the status quo and elimination of existing barriers. Inclusive education needs to be seen as one part of the wider goal. It is not simply a technical or organizational change, but involves a cultural and philosophical change of approach based on commitment to respect for every child and recognition of the obligations of the education system to adapt, to accommodate, and address or her or his needs and rights. As the conclusion, the change of education system to inclusion and equity requires review of current and resource centers of respect and address diverse learning needs. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to everyone. May this information exchange serve as a catalyst for change, a source of inspiration, and a platform for closer and more meaningful collaboration. Last but not least, we love IPJKK. Be different, be special. Go global. Generate versatile teachers. Thank you very much, and hopefully you will enjoy our ikiats today, inshallah. Take care.
For your insightful speech. Now, let's move on to our panel discussion, where our panelists will share their experience and perspective on inclusive pedagogy. Mr. Oshi, can you introduce yourself and share your experience that you've been through in your education at Stanford?
My name is Sayuti, and this is my second finance. And I was born on 15 May 1996. So my hometown is Penang, and I'm there since I was born. Yeah, I'm there. What you call profile. So today I will share a little of my experience from my primary school until school. So I will begin my story from primary school. Okay, my mother immediately asked many people how to improve my education. Since he know that he have that job. So after he found and he finds Penang YMCA, because group many Christian association. So I learned a lot sign language, basic words, vocabulary, words, and so on through YMCA from YMCA. And usually my mother always teach me confusion, addition, subtraction, division, and others. For example, my mother see anything or know anything material or anything from market, if you ask me to spell it. For example, how's the spell of water? So he always keep asking me, and I will learn it a little bit. I will every day a little bit. Okay, until today, I have a lot of vocabulary. That's not the norm. If I answer this correctly, for sure you will give me some token like money or any quiz. And if I answer correctly, so I get money. So yeah, I answer correctly, for sure you will get the end. Give me some token, and if I answer correctly, I can give you. Okay. So continue to my secondary school experience or before which is Pola Manila. So I that school I get my education to different school. On the 3 years old, my mother brings me get and buses to go from my house to my school. She tells me how to pay the ticket, bus ticket, travel from the city to school. He tell me one by one how to buy ticket, where to buy from, and so on. Why? Because she want me to go to school independently. Since my school are located quite far away from my house, so I need to get a ride to there. I am not practice until I can go to school from the city to my school without my parents. No need to depend on my parents. And I have a lot of training until I can go to use the drilling safety and process all a lot of myself. And living the home. No need to my parents drive cars anymore because I can go it by myself by reading buses and ferries. Now I am in Vancouver. Okay, see, at my age of 15 years old, my mother forced me to go to tuition center where there's many years students can go there. Of course, I quite busy because there's a lot of normal students and I but I always say I really refuse to go to tuition, but he always forced me and asked me to try to adapt to the environment. So if I try go first, the tuition center. So I do my that. I did the class. She point and shows what my influence does, start following the chapter one by one. So what we try copy to get it. After a few months, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, after a few months, let's say I can tell myself, and I can go to tuition center. Now I myself interacting with people, how to write and read, copy and write from my friends and from the market. I don't even know, but I can communicate with them. Maybe, yeah, every topic I will get along. So at the age of 16 until 17 years old, my mother encouraged me to go to tuition center to improve my subject, which are weak. So since I tried to join to tuition center, my subject will be stronger, I think. So I get a lot of knowledge how the how to solve the problem in addition, mathematics addition, additional mathematics through online. I will keep asking teachers, asking the pro, anything that I don't know, think how to solve the problem and how to improve my additional. I don't shy anymore. Just right now I'm a bit brave that I can copy and understand whatever I don't know. Okay, for the third part of my study is in IPG, which is tertiary education. So during my study, there is no innovator in IPG. IPG doesn't really doesn't provide students during classes for this. That's why I teach during classmate how to use sign language, how to improve sign language until they can practice it well. It goes about Mimma to teach them during classes. Some of us can sound very good. I teach every of them, every group, how to sign well. Use that to get prepare me during the class. So I can get information and notes from the lecturer when the lecturer teaches. And get the information whenever the lecturer teaches in the class. Secondly, NPD, I think how I adapt in communication with students. When I joined NPD for the first time, I use pen and note and pen to write for the communication with the student or normal student from IPG because they don't have basic sign language. Any university they don't have it in the so I need to guide them, teach them little by little for the context. The changes when I communicate with the student, uh, they don't understand what I'm uh, telling. For explain again, I get in detail. That's the that's the get because the normal, yeah, because the people and 10 people, culture are quite different, and so I need to explain that how the 10 culture works and the our culture, hearing people culture works. For example, we shouldn't pat the shoulder for the 10 people. Might be the shock and say. So I always explain every detail one by one. For example, please. After a long time, they know that there is a my task on shoulder for polygon. When I touch shoulder, they don't feel shock and weird. They don't feel shock and weird. But they are already understood how the temperature works. And number one, online learning gives me many functions to that because during the COVID-19 at the time, the lecturer made book for us via Google Classroom. So when I asked to join the Google Classroom, when I asked the communicate with them via Google Classroom question and answer Q&A, question and answer Q&A. Besides the online learning, like Google Classroom, it will give me they ask us what program and different assignment and work to me easily, and I use online discussion with lecturer about assignment. When I complete the work task and assignment, I submit them to the by the presentation. I also get important notes and video from lecturer via Google Classroom in a short time. As my experience for the inclusive education in IPG. First, when I joined IPG, the lecturer provided some of my seniors who are from their education course to interpret for me during preparation in orientation. He asked some seniors to interpret for me during orientation. I can communicate with the seniors who are fluent in sign language skills. They know how to interpret it. That's why I can communicate them using sign language. So number two, I took about 3 months to teach them during the classes. Some of my classmates can sign very well. I just them to interpret for me during every classes during 8 videos. I do attendance timetable every classes, so I can get information and notes from the lecturer via interpretation where the lecturer teaches. When I meet the lecturers, I bring my classmates to this communication with lecturers via interpreter. Service like discussion, class, and so on. No need to find interpreters from outside the MDA or so on, because I already have majority friends. The need to waste of time to find outside interpreters. So I can choose for my friends to be my personal interpreters. Plus it's easier for me to discuss and whatsoever to ask about work. Number three, when I involved in the inclusive education in IPC, I should sit in front. I asked to sit in front the lecturers in the classroom to pay attention to me first. Whenever I don't understand or whatever, they will take us to me and from me about my progress. So, they will ensure that I don't skip lesson, any lesson, any knowledge, any whatever lecturer teaches. They will ensure that I don't skip them, I don't miss them, and they give the important notes to me directly, so I can use Google Translate to convert speech into text. Right. That means convert speech into text. So it helps me to read the text that are given by the text. However, it's a convert speech into post text because the noisy environment or block the Google Translate from their speech. That's why Google Translate cannot read the speech clearly and maybe gives false information. When I have assignment, number one, when I have assignment, I always find and meet. I bring paper and pen to communicate with the during lecturer who don't have basic sign language priority. But it took longer time to get information. No problem for me to communicate with each other without any barriers. As I can do it through writing, and I can teach them sign language, and I think there is no problem for me. Okay. So I always ask the mobile. I will ask the classmate about the assignment and task when I don't know or maybe I miss. When I miss, so I will ask friend and I will write it down. That's why I can write information from them. When I check the right answer from them, I confirm. I double confirm again and do the word task. So in the result, I avoid from the mistakes of getting information just because I already double confirmed before. I should double check it, make sure the mistake when I sent. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hoshi, for sharing your experience with us today. Next, move on to our next panelist. We have Mr. Muhammad Shazudin Saleh, a training teacher who has a visual document. Shazudin, can you share your experience in overcoming obstacles and your perspective on inclusive pedagogy?
Terima kasih for today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good day. Ladies, panelists, volunteers, and also viewers from Bhutan and Malaysia. My name is Muhammad Shazudin Saleh. I am a third-year student in the course of Special Education Site Impairment. I was born on 15th of March 2001 in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah. I am a visually impaired person, which I have retinitis pigmentosa, a hereditary disease, and also I have a total distortion type of colorblind. In my education years, viewing the vast world with different perspectives can be challenging for you, and that happens to me. It was never an easy journey. I have my ups and downs, and here I am with you, facing through those ups and downs. But in my school days, I was once being bullied by my own classmates, leading me to not attending school for almost a month. Learning in schools with no one at you may sound like a weird thing, but I have my own support. Families, my close friends, and my teachers are all of my support during the hard days. My families, such as telling me to tuition, and my friends are willing to lending their books for me to take notes. Thank God those days went by like a breeze of the wind, and I have been announced as the best student in Sabah, which I have 6 A's during teaching Pelajaran Malaysia SPM, the highest secondary school public examination in our country, Malaysia. In 2019, I applied for IPG and I got accepted for the course of teaching English as a second language tested in IPGK in Abdul Razak, Sarawak. In 2020, I got transferred to IPG this institute, and later that year, I got transferred to special education. The year where COVID-19 strikes the world, and everyone is forced to shut the door and be safe at home. During that time, online learning is a must, and to continue our semester, we have to face online learning via Google Meet, Zoom, or any other platform viable. But my eyes can bear very long time to see the screens. So, later that year in September 2020, my department, the head of department, the department asked me to go back to campus when the situation is a bit calmer and I have face-to-face class, my personal face class, when my other friends are still having online class. I got transferred during the 7 month, which is December, and by the year 2021, we have an open book test, which replacing a physical exam. But because I don't dare to see screen that very long time, I asked our IPGs to make it special for me for physical examination. And thank God the IPGs are willing to do so. So I take exams physically in this IPG, while others I have been offered to book this. To add on to examination also, we decided extra time according to our disabilities, which is guided by Malaysian Public Examination Committee. I did face-to-face class last year, and how I'm grateful to have such great lecturers even when I'm changing my course. It helped me a lot, such as sending me notes in Google Classroom back before class, and also chances and opportunities to join activities in schools, such as in schools and also in institute, such as being a media crew in a convention, international convention, and also doing exchange sports such as flying fox, and also kayaking. That's also helping a lot with my social life and also my studies, such as chilling and chillax, drinking a cup of coffee during the weekend, and also helping with assignments and everything. All that kind of supports I've achieved, and I have the best that I can do. I was one of the founding members of Special Education Student Needs Committee, and I am the current head of Special Education Student Council. To end my volunteering, my mother once told me that in our life we don't have to be the kings or queens of the world. We have just put our names in the path of our days. My years in my schools have already ended, and I will end my IPG years next year. So I have lots of memories and lots of words to express my gratitude towards all of you. Lots of gratitude to the director, Dr. Farida, the deputy director, my head of departments, my beloved lecturers, my close mates, my classmates, my friends, and also a special love to my families in my hometown for all of these years. I did the best of what I achieved, just like others. I have been left behind the name and my legacy. How different I am, I still can be like you guys, I can still be like others. For the true meaning of inclusive is acceptance. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shafri, for sharing your valuable experience. Next, we have Mimma Sayuti Khalid, a distinguished lecturer from IPG campus. What are some of the best practices you have observed in the field of inclusive education?
Okay, hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon to everybody, especially to the director of IPG Campus Ilmu Khas, Dr. Farida binti Yaakob, to the delegation from Bhutan, Ms. Sonam Shodan, Inclusive Education Coordinator Wangsel, Institute of Deaf Bhutan, and YouTube audience, lecturers and students from IPG Campus Ilmu Khas and IPG Campus Bahasa Melayu. Thank you very much for the invitation, and of course I will be sharing, I'll try to answer the questions posed by the MC just now. And yes, okay, now I can see my presentation. Okay, these are some of the best practices that I have in terms of internationalization of classroom. Okay, it's quite a mouthful. So, but these are the things that I'll be sharing with you. The process of teaching and learning that takes place or took place in my classroom since 2020 during lockdown. Okay. So we have a few projects that we did that we integrate into the teaching and learning processes in IPG Campus Bahasa Melayu, because we are using what we call as KPPB, or which is based on new pedagogies for deep learning. And inside there, the model for new pedagogies for deep learning, we have actually the learning design that requires us to leverage digital tools. So as you can see in my presentation later, that in the beginning I'll be touching on Google Workspace for Education, because that is the foundation of our LMS, or learning management system. But I'll be inviting you to join us into a project. Join our project on MUDIK, what we call as a Museum Digital Kebudayaan and Kesusasteraan. So I'll be giving you the link later. Let me share with you the presentation first. Okay, so this is the link, and you can see that in the link you'll be directed to there is one newsletter that I put in for the purpose of this sharing session, and inside there is also the slides and also the link to MUDIK Lestari Budaya, or Global Cultural Digital Museum, that you can join if you want, and my students will be waiting there for you. Okay, so the first thing that we talk about would be when we would like to globalize our classroom, or create international classrooms in our teachers college or in Malaysia. There are certain things or certain factors that support the success of globalizing the classroom. Okay, so basically there are three. One is through the design of learning. Another one is through the support from the communities and also the leaders of the institution or our organization. Like what I'm having right now, my director is very supportive. Every time when we have a Google Educator Group Asia Pacific event, and she'll be around until 12 o'clock at night to be with us and to see what we are doing. Okay, that is one example of instructional leadership support that we get. And we talk about the communities, and you have communities from Google Educator Group, Asia Pacific, and also Malaysia. We are very strongly bonded through activities that we do, that we call as some sort like a voluntary activities that we do from time to time. And specifically in IPG Campus Bahasa Melayu, we have the PINGAT program. Okay, PINGAT stands for, if we translate that to English, it is what actually we call as the medal. But PINGAT is actually a DIY CPD, meaning that the students are, and the lecturers, they will be given opportunities to do it yourself continuous professional development. So PINGAT stands for Program Inovator Digital Terarahkan Diri. Okay, so sort of like certification and also recognition of digital competencies. Okay, so these are the three things. So I'm going to go very briefly for each topic. So topic one would be through the design of learning. As we know that the door to internationalization in the classroom is to have the learning environment that is easy and quick to access. Okay, so it has to have a context, it has to have effective community support and leadership, and the most important thing is the technology is easy to use. So what we have right now is the Google Workspace for Education, and I think you know and you experience that Google Workspace for Education is very easy to use. It's very not only easy but easy to remember, meaning that if you place an object or a data in the storage, you'll be able to retrieve that very quickly. So that makes us more efficient. That also will support the effectiveness of teaching and learning. So the door to internationalization is we use what is existing or given to us. Okay, so what we have right now is we have two domains. One would be the Delima domain given by Ministry of Education, and another one we have e-pembelajaran given by the IPG Malaysia. Okay, then the next one, the next consideration that we do when we are creating the learning environment is to create the environment that uses contemporary pedagogy. Okay, well, if we look at what I am sharing with you, contemporary pedagogy will enable learners to become self-navigator, social contractor, media critic and media maker, innovative designer, and of course, globally connected citizen. So these are the ways that we will have to think of, the lecturers will have to think of every time when we want to design the learning environment. And since KPPB or New Pedagogies for Deep Learning is actually a student-centered environment, so we'll be also referring to the model of students learning. So when students are learning, we encourage the students to find aspiration. Find aspirations means that you put yourself a target, and then you think about what you want to be, and that is very connected to the big idea that we have in the classroom. And you create relationship with people through social media, and as you go, you'll be learning how to learn. So that is basically the learning design. So internationalization will start from class when you start to design the learning environment. Okay, and these are some of the examples where we leverage the digital tools. And the first one, of course, as what the speakers before said, we have Google Classroom, then we have Google Drive for the storage, the Google Site for the digital learning object, Google Drawing for illustration, and of course, Google Meet and YouTube that you are having right now. And all these are the tools that we can use to connect to Google Educator Group, as you can see here. Okay, so it's the landscape, the environment that we have, and also the tools that we use will enable us to go for internationalization. Okay, then these are some of the examples, okay, in accordance to the learning design. And those learning design will be more established if we get support from communities and leaders. So what I mean by communities and leaders would be from the Google Educator Group. In globally, Google Educator Group communities are very strong, and we'll be able to just give a call to one leader in another country and ask for a support, ask for opportunities to collaborate. Then you get one. So one of the example here will be, as you can see here, the one that I'm showing. This Gary Garcia is from Philippines, and also the learning design will be more effective if it is done systematically or systemically. And if you're talking about the system, of course, when you get support from the instructional leadership, it will become more effective. Okay. And besides that is the DIY of the educators themselves. So these are some of the examples for us to get certified and to be able to improve on our, enable us to go and create. Okay, and create with the GEG communities, we'll be able to do that through. So when you're talking about the inclusivity, of course, some of the social media, like what I'm going to show you after this, about they have assistive technology that can help create equity in the classroom. Equity, which means that not only for those in the mainstream will be able to be connected, but also to those people within the two tails, meaning that the special education or the specially challenged students or learners will be able to join. So we're talking about the equity in this education. Okay. And what we do in IPGKBM to expedite the transformation or to no, I mean not to establish, to improve on the core digital competencies, we create one program, what we call as PINGAT, as the recognition of digital competencies of the lecturers and also the students. Okay, so it is a pilot program which was started by IPGKBM and brought to Google 2 years ago. And every year we will have some program that is related to PINGAT. Okay, so this is the Google office in Kuala Lumpur. And we open opportunities for students to go and learn from teachers around the world. So one of the project that we did was to put in the future teachers as digital ambassadors. So these 81 students went to the classes, get trained by Google trainers, and put in some projects, and they managed, out of 81, 22 young future teachers became ambassador for applied digital skills, which means that they will be able to teach other people to improve on their digital skills. Okay. And the next one, okay, these are the photos of the 22 ambassadors of Google Applied Digital Skills. These are young future teachers who, that time they were 19 years old. Now they're in the first year of PISMP. Okay, so from there, we created a digital expertise directory for each student. So now we have about 131 experts in different competencies for digital, and these are young future teachers. Okay, and we also put in opportunities for them to present to at Asia Pacific level. So like this one is one of the example through GEJ APEC. We have quarterly event, and in the GEJ APEC, we do it simultaneously with other countries, except that we are different geographically, and of course the time will be a little bit different, except but we still stick to the same date. Meaning, like for instance, we have people from New Delhi. We'll be doing on, for example, here we were doing on 15 May. They are doing during Indian time, which is 3 hours earlier or later than us. But we did it also on the 15th May, but at different time, convenient to us. Okay, so these are examples of webinars that we carried out together with all the communities in Asia Pacific. Okay, so in the end, the impact of internationalization is that mobility, we don't have to create, or we do not have to create programs where the students have to go physically to other countries to be global citizens. We can do it in our classroom. As you can see, within the range of 4 months, the students, 81 young future teachers, were able to be connected to people around the world. So these are some of the examples that we have done, and they managed to achieve as global citizens, because being global citizens is very important right now. Okay, so let's get connected. I would really hope that you can join us in Mudek. Mudek is a digital museum that exhibit or that displays objects or activities or treasures from the culture itself. So like IPG Campus Bahasa Melayu, since we are specializing in Bahasa Melayu, so we have about 18 virtual display or exhibition where we share with you things like the traditional Malay attire or costume, or traditional Malay pantun or poems that, or even games. Okay, so you can explore that. I give you the link. You can explore and see yourself the museum, which is done in Google Slide, and you can just um, not there is no place to give comment, but you can give a comment to those people because we put it in Flipgrid, and you can also, since Flipgrid is a video based application, even if you can't speak or you can't for the inclusivity, you can always use sign language in your video. Okay, so this is the Global Cultural Digital Museum. You can go to this Flipgrid application, and you can try to be in here. Okay, join this group, and once you join, you just look at the instruction, and please you can start with your video comments and video responses. Okay, and if you are interested to create a digital museum, you can always email me here, or you can also be connected to me in the digital cultural digital museum in Flipgrid. Okay, so that's all from me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be with you. We hope that we can get connected. Not, I mean, we can get connected in future, and I really hope that we can collaborate on projects like cultural museum that I just showed to you just now. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your valuable. Now let's move on to our next panelist, very special panelist. We have this Donald Chaudhary from the Inclusive Education Coordinator of Wangsel Institute for the Deaf. So, Ms. Donald, can you introduce yourself and tell us about your journey in promoting inclusive education at Wangsel?
Good morning to everyone. I'm a teacher in Wangsel Institute as well as an interpreter. And I will talk about my experiences back in school in countries of leadership reputation.
An enriching presentation on embarrassing or best practices for better supportive, inclusive education for all. Despite the fact that deaf education has advanced significantly over the years in the globe, thanks to the groundbreaking research, cutting-edge technologies, to diversity and inclusion. Despite the difficulties faced by the deaf educators and students who are deaf back at Wangsel Institute, our presentation seeks to give priceless gifts or insights into the strategies and tools and approaches that have been essential in determining the success of students who are deaf in Bhutan. Firstly, to talk with the accessibility, when we are talking of accessibility, we provide least restrictive environment for the students, especially with the. So when we are talking of the least restrictive environment, we are talking of the opportunities given to the students who even come to Wangsel Institute beyond their school going age. Uh, It's mainly because students cannot be placed in other schools due to a lack of shared language. For those students, we provide not only for those students, even for the school going age, so early learning center, as well as it becomes a transition for those students who could not be placed in any other general schools. So, to give you an example, at present we have a student who is 22 years old and she has completed her 11th standard, but she could not continue her education because she has lost her hearing after her 11th standard. And for the newcomers and newly admitted students, we provide 6 months of Bhutan Sign Language course in which they learn how to communicate using Bhutan Sign Language. And after this 6 months of Bhutan Sign Language course, we provide students with the bridging course, whereby students will be uh, looked into their backgrounds, and then backgrounds like we will be looking at the students whether they will be placed in the pre-primary or either in the higher grades. So in that, bridging teachers will be teaching the students according to their level, and then for that, after 6 months, then later they will be placed according to their grades or either in pre-primary. Next, we have conducive learning environment. We make sure that the physical ambience of the classroom is appropriate and conducive for our students. We provide adequate lighting so that the teachers or the instructors can clearly see the students and the students could see them clearly and teaching them through Bhutanese Sign Language, as you could see here in the pictures. Secondly, we have an appropriate seating arrangement for the students. As you can see, the students will are placed in a semicircle formation, seen, and they are provided the access to Bhutanese Sign Language teachers as well as the instructors. Then we go with the classroom acoustic. When we talk of classroom acoustic, our classroom are well for the students' accessibility. The students, the classrooms are carpeted and we have double layered glasses, window glasses, which protects them from other unwanted sounds, and it helps them concentrate uh, in other carrying out other activities. We also provide mind training and educational movement before the classes, classes. After that, when we see them ready to learn, then only we go on with the academic teachings. Wangsel Institute is very conducive. We have cooperative learning groupings. We use visual aids, and we are also focusing into three P, P's approach. That is the play-based, the place-based, and the project-based. As we are talking of the learning environment in Wangsel is like we try to provide access to our students by giving them hands-on practices, and the teachers and the instructors act as a facilitators rather than lecturing them what to do and what not to do. So we provide them the experiences on their own with the use of practicalities, and we also provide hands-on practices in the academic learning too. So academic as well as in vocational learning. So we provide students hands-on practices. And the last picture here, as you could see, the girl here is not only deaf, she is with multiple disabilities. And for those students, we try to provide additional learning needs support, and then in this process, the students visit the community, nearby community, where they have the access to all those learning objects or equip a lot of things through experiences. Another best practice that we have is we promote self-advocacy and self-esteem through celebrating and creating awareness during the global days. This was the recent ones, National Day for Persons with Disabilities. We also celebrate International Week for the Deaf for about a week. We have a program for our students. And these programs are not only held in the school, we go beyond the school, and the pictures here shows the first picture here is like a celebration that is being carried out in our nearby, whereby we could lots of audience who are local leaders and also the stakeholders. And the other one here, when we're talking of again self-advocacy and self-esteem, we let students participate in varying activities, sporting activities, and during those activities, students learn how to interact with one another. They learn to promote their skills and talents. And in sporting activities, they learn how to maintain their health and well-being. And not only that, they also learn how to save money. So we have collaborated our school with the Royal Monetary Authority of Bhutan, and then he give us this platform where students are given the information on how to save money for their future. We also foster talent, foster platforms where students can showcase talent. We don't have gender bias. We let students participate equally. We even collaborate with our local community as well as other general schools so that we try we inclusivity, let them interact, and in that process we also organize photo exhibitions, the uh, talent hunt programs are being kept in the localities. We have scouting programs, and the teachers back at Wangsel Institute, they also carry out multitasking. They act as a teacher, they act as an interpreter, and in that process, we don't forget to we have initiated to along collaboratively along with our national news, and every Friday, two interpreters go to the national news, our Bhutan Broadcasting Service, and then there we interpret the whole week's news to our students through Bhutan Broadcasting Service. In short, we call it as BS. Is this visual aids and gestures are used effectively. The students are provided with we have reference corner for students in each classroom. We have word corners for students in each classroom. Teachers try to for the students, and they even use the real objects so that the students get better access to learning. And since they are visual learners, when they see the real objects, they feel it, and so they get to learn. And another one is for behavior management, we prepare behavior charts and we have subject corners for each ICTs, and we adopt digitalized tools to teach to our students. For child's development, we also have a good practice whereby we focus on interaction and communicating between the school community and the parents. And we are very much into following the assistance theory of overlapping spheres of influence for the child's development. And in that process, we when we are developing IPs, we involve stakeholders like the child's parents, and the educational officers, so that they know the needs of the child. And we also have we also develop IEPs for additional learning needs students, and then like we foster self advocacy whereby students they tend to educate they tend to educate their friends in other needs, educational needs. And in that process we also communicate and we collaborate with the community. We support the community by helping them through cleaning campaigns. We also foster good practices like the students helping their younger ones, and the younger ones respecting the elder ones. And we collaborate with the stakeholders. And as you could see here in the first picture, the students are being provided the facilities of having their hearing checkups for better learning, support and accommodation. That is why we do this regularly. However, we don't have the facilities that you have here in Malaysia, but then we do collaborate with Ministry of Health in Bhutan, and then we seek support from the audiologist, and this audiologist visits our school and provide a regular health checkup for the students, hearing checkup. And similarly, we involve parents in school programs. We involve parents in their child's learning. So these are the good practices that we have back at Wangsel Institute. Professionalism. So when we are talking of professionalism, professional development and research action research, they all are in they work in cycle. So like professionalism helps you to become school administrators, whereas professional development and when it comes to action research and research helps you develop your teaching strategies, teaching methodologies, interaction with your students. And all this process helps you support your students in a better way, and lets them lets our students make in a better position, so that they could develop wholesome, like it's like providing wholesome education to our children. But to provide wholesome education to your children, to our children, we need to develop ourselves. So that is why this is one of the very good practice that we have back at Wangsel Institute. And when it comes to research and action research, though it is very new in Wangsel Institute, but in past 2 years we did a very good job. And because of this action research back at school, we could have a better practices at present. And the pictures here being carried out back at school. Recently, we were also chosen as one of our action research. We were chosen as research in Bhutan back at Bhutan, and we also presented our research data. That is another one, but the most beneficial is for our students, because from that action research we knew that that particular strategy works well with the students, and we have shared it with the colleagues, and are following those strategies so that it could enhance students' learning. And when it comes to professional development, we seek experts, and recently, we also invited Dr. Farida on academic writing, and we also seek support from other beyond Bhutan, because Wangsel Institute is the only deaf school in Bhutan, and we don't have any local schools who provide deaf education. So that is why we go beyond Bhutan and seek support from the experts beyond Bhutan. So till date, we have received supports from Thailand, we have received support from Australia. So now we are hoping that this supports, continued supports will help our foster learning for our students back at school. So these are the good practices that we have back at Wangsel Institute.
Thank you, Ms. Mona, and all of our panelists for sharing your valuable experience and insights. Your journey in inclusive education should exemplify the importance of experience in shaping effective pedagogy. As we come to the end of today's webinar, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to our panelists, VIPs, and all the participants from Malaysia and Bhutan for joining us and sharing their valuable insights. Remember, inclusive education is not just a goal, it is a commitment to fostering an environment where every student can thrive and achieve their full potential. Let's continue the dialogue, implement inclusive practice, and open the way for the brighter and more inclusive future. Thank you once again for your active participation. We hope you contribute positively and achieve that for a wonderful day. Goodbye.